we are diving into a really strange geopolitical puzzle that's been unfolding up in the Arctic. It's a story that has it all: massive military drills, really confusing motives, and what looks like a major stress test for the entire NATO alliance. So it really all starts with this one question. You've got all these European warplanes screaming across the skies of Greenland. Why? On the surface, the answer seems simple. It's a big military exercise. But when you start to ask why they're really there, you get two completely different answers. And frankly, both of them are kind of worrying. So let's paint a picture of what's actually happening on the ground. We're talking about a huge multinational military drill. You've got Danish F-35 fighter jets ripping through the sky, getting refueled in midair by French tankers, while down below, troops are running exercises on land and at sea. This is, without a doubt, a serious show force. And just look at the guest list here. This isn't just a small, local get-together. You've got the big European players, the UK, France, Germany, plus all the key Nordic countries. This is a major coordinated operation, which makes the reason for it, well, that much more important. Now, if you've been following the news leading up to all this, the first most obvious answer seems to point the finger straight at another NATO member, the United States. And yeah, that sounds kind of crazy, but the timeline of events leading up to these drills is, well, it's really suggestive. Let's just walk through it step by step. First, the US president publicly says he's interested in buying Greenland. Denmark, which, has sovereignty over Greenland, comes back with a very firm no. So what happens next? Denmark asks its European allies for military support, and a little while later, here they are. It really does look like a classic case of cause and effect, doesn't it? So you piece all that together, and the conclusion feels pretty straightforward. It looks for all the world like this huge military gathering is a direct European response to pressure, and maybe even a perceived threat from their biggest and most powerful ally. But that is not where this story ends. In fact, the official story isn't just a little different. It takes this whole narrative and flips it completely on its head. And this is where it gets really interesting. The way Denmark officially explains this whole operation, they're insisting it has absolutely nothing to do with the United States. Instead, they're pointing in a totally different direction. They're looking east, towards Moscow. And get this is the official line, straight from the chief of Denmark's Joint Command. He completely dismisses the idea of a NATO-on-NATO problem. He says, and I'm paraphrasing here, that it's their job to stop any potential Russian attack on Greenland. He even says the United States was invited to join the drills. So, here we are, at the heart of this whole mystery. You have the timeline of events that points directly at a dispute with the US. But then you have the official declaration that points the finger at Russia. So, which one is it? What's really going on here? And just when you think it can't get more complicated, the tension just keeps on building. Because while all these European forces were busy drilling for a supposed Russian threat, the White House was making it crystal clear that this Greenland issue was far from settled. Right after some meetings at the White House, the US president doubled down. He said again that Greenland was a matter of national security. And then he dropped a pretty stark warning. Any country that gets in the way of the plan could be facing economic pain in the form of tariffs. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. You have European allies up in the Arctic practicing how to defend themselves from an outside enemy, and at the exact same time, they're being threatened with an economic attack by their most important security partner. It's a lot. So what's the real danger here? Is it a possible Russian move, or is it this growing tension between the US and its European allies? The answer, it seems, might be both. And that is causing some deep, very visible cracks to appear in the NATO alliance. So here's the bottom line. This whole Greenland situation has become a symbol for something way bigger. It's not just about protecting a piece of land anymore. Now, it's about trying to handle a situation where the threat of conflict is coming from outside and inside the alliance at the same time. And that leaves us with this final, really troubling question. For years, the big focus has been on deterring adversaries like Russia. But what this whole Greenland episode shows us is that maybe, just maybe, in the process of preparing for threats from the outside, the biggest danger to NATO could actually be coming from within.